we've been working out our players for a short period now. We've had a couple of guys come in like Shaquan just recently, but the rest of the guys have been working really, really hard, and I like this team's potential a great deal. The positives are we have a lot of talent and size. The negative is we've got to get guys ready much quicker than ever before since in my tenure as a basketball coach because of the schedule. The schedule is, we've had tough Big East schedules before, as we do at the ACC, but we've never had a non-conference schedule like this. Even teams like Cleveland State and Western Kentucky are going to be as strong as they've been. And then you take 3 Big Ten teams, you take Kentucky, who's going to be a consensus #1 pick, and the schedules are bare. So we've got to get our guys ready physically, emotionally, and we're getting great leadership from Montrezl Harrell and Wayne Blackshear. I'll start with Wayne. This is the best, I don't want to get my hopes too high, this is the best Wayne has looked in a long time because it has finally got through to him that the sand is running out in the hourglass. And he has dedicated himself more in a short period of time than he has 3 years combined. So he looks great, he understands what we want, and I'm real excited about the way he has dedicated himself. Montrez has come back emotionally maturing as a leader, something that was the only thing missing in his game, besides his foul shooting. And he emotionally is a leader who's leading positively, and we're all very excited to see that. The 2 biggest improvements on the team early on, without question, is Okoye Agau and Mango. Okoye is a different person, physically, emotionally, mentally. And that's a great thing for us because we need that position desperately. And then Mango has really, really he's gotten much bigger physically, not so much in putting on weight, but he's almost muscle bound right now. You know, he's probably about 5% body fat, but he is cut. So those 2 guys really stick out right now in terms of, and generally you see that from freshman to sophomore year, you see that big leap that guys take. Anton Gill has also improved tremendously. He has taken it. He's not quite as noticeable as Mango and Okoye from that class, but very noticeable. And Terry Rozier is going to have a breakout year. He's what you expect to have. It's taken a long period of time for us to get Chris Jones where we want him. It's finally, we have tried to get 10 pounds off of him, so he's one of the quicker players in the country. And it has taken a long time. To give you an idea, our assistant coach, Kenny Johnson, since April, has lost 65 pounds. 65 pounds. Chris Jones, in that frame time, we finally got Chris Jones to lose 10. So our coach was much more dedicated in getting that down. Now, he had a lot more to lose than Chris, but we're real proud of Chris right now because right now Chris Jones is as good as any guard that I've coached from a speed quickness standpoint, and that's great. So Rozier and Jones with Mango, Montrez, and Wayne give us 5 guys who have been through it all. I don't think our front court or our back court has to take a back seat to anybody in the country. I won't say they're better, but I don't think they have to take a back seat to anybody. Now, the difficult thing is the bench. We've got to get 4 or 5 guys ready to play and back up those guys. We think Anton and Okoye are ready. Q, a freshman, is the most ready right now physically. He's got to obviously get us in a little better shape, but offensively he's ready to play. Defensively he's not, so that's what we're working on right now. Jalen Johnson is not here. He is. We're waiting. Some high schools get in their academic stuff later than others. He has an academic situation where he's fine, but because there were consolidations at his high school, everybody coming in, their high school is just getting the stuff in a lot slower. And unfortunately, he's going to be behind everybody else because of that. Honest, Honest is a young man who's very, very gifted for a 7-footer. Very gifted. Good hands, good shot, good footwork, but he's probably going to need a redshirt season because he's very thin. He's 186 pounds. So he's probably going to need a redshirt season, but he's going to be terrific down the road. Shinanu, he likes to be referred to as Nanu. He's physically ready, and he'll be a good guy coming in off the bench. He just has to learn. He's getting in good shape. He probably has the most room to grow because he's never been in shape in his life. And he's getting into shape right now, and every single time we work him out, he looks better. We've had one day with Shaquan Aaron, and a lot of times players come in, they remind you of certain plays. And Shaquan reminds us of Francisco Garcia. He was supposed to come in at 185, he came in at 168. So he reminds us a lot of Francisco Garcia in terms of his body and in terms of his game. The bad news is he has Francisco's body. The good thing is he has Francisco's game. So he's a very talented young man. Mats is waiting for his visa to get approved. He has been approved academically, and we're waiting for him to come in from Norway as we speak. He's waiting to get a visa to get in here and get into summer school and start developing. So we're very excited. This is a really good group. Very, very talented bigs that have outstanding potential. And certainly getting the Russ Smith news is a cherry on top of this Sunday, so it's great. Now, but we have to be ready. This schedule is really, really difficult. As we analyze the teams we're going to play, a lot of the teams that obviously the Dukes and the Virginias and so on are household names now, but some of these other teams like Western and Cleveland State can really play, so we've got to be ready from the time we face Minnesota and Puerto Rico on, and it's going to take us having a great summer. Questions?
How much will you and Richard talk about that game this summer? As much as you've been involved in this team, watching them, giving them advice, it's a little different when you're playing them.
Rich is a lot different than me. He takes his summers drinking pina coladas. We go to work. We're a lot different. We're cut from a different cloth. He's out there right now on the beach somewhere, and we're not doing that.
How do you change your timetable when it comes to getting into a range? Do you feel like it's something you practice?
Yeah, I think the practices change where before you take your time and just develop it because the schedule will allow you to do that. You don't have to be in great shape mid-November in terms of basketball fundamentals. You gear yourself into February and get better with each week. That will not be allowed. We've got to be ready right away because you place a Minnesota team with 10 players back who won the NIT. You got to be ready right away. And in our exhibition games, our red-white games, all have to be played with a lot on the line. So you gear everything up in the first 2 weeks to be ready to play.
Use an example of how your preparation is different.
Well, I think that as you get into August, in the beginning especially, you start working not so much on skill development as we're doing now, but you start working on your actual plays, which you don't ever do, but we will do it this year.
You had said similar things about Anton Gillen comparing him to you all of last year. I know Anton really struggled to get on the court. Is that something that you see limiting him with the defense?
Q? Q reminds you of Edgar Sosa. He was, very, very much ready to play offensively, but not defensively. But he doesn't have to be ready defensively. He's going to play as a freshman. He's not going to be like Anton. He's going to play as a freshman. And he's going to struggle a little bit defensively because he'll be guarding Terry Rozier, and he'll be guarding Chris Jones. Like Chris Jones just destroyed everybody today. Because, all of you, you exercise. You put 8 or 10 pound vest on you and play. And then you take an 8, 10 pound vest off and you see what it feels like. Well, that's basically what Chris Jones is like right now. He's an unguardable guy. And we've been trying diligently to get it off, but it's, young people have bad eating habits, and that's the problem with him. So,
How did you get the weight off?
he was eating better, drinking less bourbon at night. No. No, eating better was the key with him, because fried foods and sugar are the reason he couldn't lose weight. And once we got him off fried foods most of the time and sugar, that was the key.
Gary, you mentioned you expect him to have a breakout year. Do you expect him to have the ball in hand a lot or play off the ball?
He'll do both. In our system, there is no 1 and 2. I mean, Russ had the ball in his hands just as much as Peyton when they played together, and Russ had the ball in his hands just as much as Chris, if not more, last year. And the same thing with Terry and Chris. Whoever gets the outlet is going to be the point. The other guy runs the lane. So it's really not a big change. We're all going to play with what we call 2-1 guards.
How do you think he's kind of taken that game for those guys?
I just think freshmen don't necessarily struggle here physically. They struggle here mentally with all the different defenses we play. And it's confusing to them. And then they blossom as sophomores.
How much did your approach change when you have to turn over this many players from 1 year to the next?
Well, we're losing 2 great ones in Russ Smith and Luke Hancock. But as good as they are, the way Wayne Blackshear is getting after it, the potential of Shaquan Aaron, and the emergence of Chris Jones and Terry Rozier, I think they're going to just blossom into their own. And I think we'll miss those guys, but certainly these other guys bring different skills. Nobody has the range of a Luke Hancock or the ability to get by people like Russ Smith, but I think Chris Jones is developing that.
What can you do with him right now? How much time do you have?
You get 2 hours a week, but we have one of the best strength coaches in the nation, and he's being challenged more now than any time in his life in terms of what he has to do with 6 guys. He's got Shaquan at 168 pounds. He's got Anis at 185 at 7 feet. He's going to get Mott's coming in here probably about 235, and he's got to be 255. So, and then he's got to keep weight off of Chris Jones and Wayne. So he's got the busiest summer of all, because he gets 6 hours. We get 2 hours. So I've got to I'll fly to Philadelphia, Indianapolis, come back, do individuals, go to Chicago. So we're mixing it in basketball-wise and recruiting, but he's got to be on these 6 hours are vital to him.
Is it 2 hours you can do individuals or you can do all?
You can do team practice, but right now we're doing skill development because we got 6 new guys coming in.
How different would it be watching Russ in the KFC Center from coaching him on the bench, and you all had kind of a...
Yeah, I think Russ was a joy to coach in his senior year, and there were ups and downs his freshman year and a lot of adjustment sophomore year. But he was a joy to coach. It was a lot of fun to coach senior year. I wouldn't say it was fun freshman sophomore.
Will it be fun to watch him,
Oh, it'll be great. Great to watch him.
More of a challenge. Is it adding weight to guys like, Shaquan, or is it changing some of these mental outlook like Wayne?
I think Wayne had more than anything else, he had to admit certain things to himself, and he did. And so Wayne's very mature. He's one of the nicest young men we've had in our program. Larry O'Bannon's, the Wayne Blackshears, the Peyton Sievers. They're all guys that are just very easy to coach. But Wayne had to say, look, just working hard is not enough. I got to take it to a new level, and he has. Putting on weight is very difficult, very difficult. Losing weight is very easy. Now, Chris hasn't been easy, but losing weight is easy. Putting on muscle is very difficult for guys with a body like Shaquan or Anis, Walter McCarty, Mango, those type of guys.